Somewhere, there is a photograph of you. You're maybe 2 years old. You're laughing at something. Really laughing. The whole body kind. And you have absolutely no idea what. Because you weren't there. Not really. Try it. Reach back as far as you can. The memory gets thinner. Thinner. And then it simply stops. A wall. Behind that wall are the first 3 years of your life. Learning to walk, to talk, to love the people who raised you. And you remember none of it. This isn't forgetting. Forgetting is losing a key. This is something stranger. The door was never built. Infant brain wasn't lazy. It was the busiest it would ever be. A newborn arrives with around 100 billion neurons, nearly every brain cell it will ever own, and almost none of them are wired together. Picture a city the size of a continent, fully built, with not a single road connecting any of it. So it builds roads, frantically. In the first years of life, your brain forms over 1 million new connections, every second. Every second. It's learning what a face is, that hands belong to you, that the loud thing is a dog, and the soft thing is mother, and that the world, mostly, doesn't end when the lights go out. This is the heaviest construction project in the known universe. And here's the thing about a construction site. Nobody lives in it yet. To remember a moment, a real one, with a where and a when, you need a specific piece of equipment. A small curled structure deep in the brain called the hippocampus. Think of it as a librarian. Its job is to take the chaos of an experience, a smell, a sound, a feeling, and file it as a single book on a shelf, so that you can pull it back down later. In a newborn, the librarian hasn't shown up for work. The library is still being built around her. The shelves aren't dry. The filing system hasn't been invented yet. So the experiences still happen, vivid, overwhelming. But nothing gets shelved. The moment arrives, blazes, and dissolves. No book, no record, just the next moment. But it gets stranger than an absent librarian, because in those early years, your brain does something it almost never does again. It makes brand new memory cells in enormous numbers. Neuroscientists call it neurogenesis. And for years, it sounded like wonderful news. New cells, more memory, until they notice something awkward. When you cram new neurons into the memory circuit, they don't just add storage. They rewire the connections that were already there. They overwrite. Every fresh wave of cells scribbles over the ones that came before. In one study, scientists slowed this cell making down in young animals, and the animals suddenly kept their early memories. Speeded up in adults, and the adults started losing theirs. So the very thing making you smarter, faster, more human by the day, was quietly erasing the receipts as it went. You were learning so fast that the lessons couldn't survive the upgrade. And there's one final piece missing. The most important one. To remember your life, there has to be a you to remember it. A main character. A sense of, this is happening to me. But that self isn't there at birth either. It assembles slowly, and it needs a tool almost nobody suspects. Language. The words I, me, yesterday, mine. The little hooks you hang a story on. Before you had the words, you had no story, only weather. Pure experience, with no narrator standing inside it. You weren't recording your childhood. You were busy becoming the person who could record anything at all. Step back, and a strange shape appears. The single most important stretch of your life. The years that decided how you'd love, what you'd fear, the very accent of your thoughts, is the one stretch you'll never be allowed to watch. For most of human history, that's simply how it was. A child grew, the family remembered for them, and the early years lived on only in someone else's stories. No footage, no backup, and we turned out fine, entire, whole, ourselves. Now look at what we do today. We photograph every birthday. We back up the cloud to a second cloud. We are terrified, genuinely terrified, of forgetting a single afternoon. And yet the most formative thing that ever happened to you happened with no record at all. You are the proof that you don't need to remember something for it to have built you. The first 3 years didn't vanish. They're not in the photo album. They're in the shape of you. In the way your shoulders drop when a certain voice says your name. You can't visit that room. But everyone you've ever met is still living inside theirs, carrying years they'll never see, shaped by a story they were too busy living to write down. So here's the question worth sitting with. If your mind threw away its most important years and kept you anyway, how much of who you are was never a memory in the first place? Tell me what you think, and stay curious.